Welcome back to the LCS. I am here to award our MasterCard Player of the Week. It was Bwipo from the top lane from Team Liquid. Two very different performances from you, though, in C9 and Fly. What did you make of what has awarded you this honor?
I'm quite happy with it. Sometimes tank players don't really get recognized when they make, important initiations and make big plays for the team, even though, usually you're playing the tank, you're on the weak side. As you can see, like the stats, like they're probably pulled down quite a bit from the Gragas game because you don't really have high CS per minute, you don't have high damage output, but sometimes you can find game-winning plays, and still being recognized for some of those angles that I found in the C9 game feels great.
And I think that was one of the most impressive things, especially talking to you after that game, how you learned from earlier moments to be able to make those plays later on. When it comes to mid-game adaptivity, how hard of a skill do you think that is to develop, and how prominent among players within the professional scene?
I think it's a pretty rare skill. I think that a lot of people need a lot of feedback from the teammates, and I have to give credit to my team as well. Like during the match, we were talking about how to solve the team fighting problem that we had. Like, why did that fight go wrong? How do we solve the next fight? How can we fight better in the next fight? And that's what we did. Just try to cancel Karthus and look to peel, and then sometimes the best way to peel is to kill the first guy you see on your screen.
Yeah, take the first guy out. Everyone easy peasy from there. There was also a lot of talk that we had about kind of the communication structure between the veterans at the time. That's changed a bit. CoreJJ back in. How has that altered the dynamic thus far?
I'm super reassured to have him on my team. I actually think that my playstyle was very suitable for Ayla, where I think he was a little bit more reserved. Obviously he's coming into a big star-studded lineup. He doesn't want to make mistakes that will cost the team the game, and he's just trying to fill in his role. So I was farming a lot, and we weren't really looking for aggressive plays in the mid-game stages. Whereas now with Core, I do feel like sometimes we put a little more gas into the game and try to get going a bit faster. So I'm in the process of reevaluating my own style and seeing maybe I should go back to this guy's on mid wave every wave, because that's who I used to be.
Well, regardless of whoever you are paired with and however that ends up altering your state of play, everyone says it's so fun to watch Bwipo. The builds, the picks, the style. Do you feel that you exert kind of this energy into Summoner's Rift when you take to it?
Maybe. I always try to have fun myself. I have no shame in admitting that. I do look for the joy in the game. I love playing the game just as much as I did back in Season 3. Like, when I first started playing the game, I love playing the game still, and finding the things that I enjoy playing, and making things work is the #1 reason why I got addicted to League of Legends. I can admit that. For example, I see a lot of Graves top, and everyone's building shield bomb. I'm just like, that doesn't seem right. He doesn't seem as strong as he could be. And then making my Eclipse build work and grinding a lot of games into that to make sure that I can show that my style is the best way to play is something that I've always, connected with. This is my main motivation for playing, even today. I've got a list of champions in my mind right now that I want to play for next week that I really want to make work, because I think that they can be strong. And even if they're not the best or the most optimal, the fact that I'm the only player that plays him in that specific style gives me a competitive edge.
Well, Bwipo, I hope you never lose that, because it's definitely a joy from the audience perspective. Congratulations again on your MasterCard Player of the Week.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Team Liquid will be facing off against CLG in just a minute, so let's go ahead and continue to break down that matchup.
Thank you so much, LeTigress, and congrats again to Bwipo on grabbing that Player of the Week honors. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody who enjoys playing the game of competitive League of Legends more than Bwipo does. And if you had to call anyone out, you'd probably look at CoreJJ as being maybe the runner-up in that situation. And on that topic, yesterday we were reintroduced to North America's greatest support, which means that we are going to head over to Hai to get his pro view on CoreJJ's play. Hai, take it away.
How's it going, everybody? We have a play up here, and it's going to be very simple. I want to talk about things that he does at a fundamental level that make you a better support player. So the first and foremost thing I want to bring up is that when your AD carry is backing in the lane phase, you should always take a look at mid and see if there's anything you can do there or not. You'll take a look here and see that he roams and ganks mid. There won't always be an opportunity to do this, but at the very least, you should look. Here, he does the roam. They don't get the kill, but they burn a flash here, and that's so huge to be able to swing the momentum of your mid laner in your favor. So that's the very first tip that you can do almost every single game. The second tip will be, when you're recalling, make sure to do a few different things. #1, take a look at your mid lane and take a look at your top lane. See if there's a way where you can make a play and do something there. You'll see here that he halves towards mid, which is a good thing to do. Almost always path towards mid, especially the pixel bush, is very important to get control there because it's such a pivotal point of the map. And even if there's nothing that happens, being there in case a fight happens is really good. So make sure to look top, make sure to look mid. And then another thing that he does really well is when you're trying to get vision as a support, it's so hard to do. You're not very strong. You get killed by everyone on the enemy team. So find your homies. In this specific instance, his homie is his jungler. So you find the jungler, group up with him, and get vision together. In this play, you'll see that even though he dies for it, had he didn't have his jungler here, he would die for free, and then they would have no vision. But here, they trade 1-for-1. So good fundamentals here leads him to having good vision, and it'll lead us to our next clip right here. The fourth tip that I have while watching him play will be that when the late game starts coming on, you have to figure out ways to accelerate your team. Here, you'll take a look. The only possible way that the Corki and Gnar could do something is if they get a 4-man ulti at Baron into some massive wombo combo. So what CoreJJ does instead is, 1, he's not on Baron, which he does no damage to, so that's good. And 2, he'll sacrifice his life for the Gnar, so that way there's no counter engage from Gnar, and they get the Baron for free. So you want to trade your life to secure objectives. And to sum this all up, number 1, make sure to look mid to see if you can roam there on your first recall. Number 2, make sure to look mid and top to see if you can do anything after your recall. Number 3, when getting vision, do that with your teammates. And number 4, as the game goes on, you need to sacrifice your life for either your teammates or for objectives. And that's all I have for now. Back to you all.
Thank you so much. I feel like I'm ready to dive in. The question is, which one of you is going to be my warding homie?
I might mix it up. I'm just going to give my life right at the start.
So that's like on spawn, go straight mid, dive turret. Yeah, exactly. Incredible fundamentals, and again, I think it's great to highlight that as CoreJJ steps back on to the LCS stage. TL already looking like a formidable team, and to some, the best in the league. You add him back into the lineup, and they only get scarier. But I want to turn our attention with our final minute or two here to talk about CLG, who's tasked with taking them down today. They picked up their first win yesterday, Emily. That's going to feel good, and it did in so many ways come from the player and players that we had looked at needing to turn it on for CLG and Contractz and Palafox.
Yeah, so we'd highlighted Contractz, and this Hecarim pick was great for him. I really want to shout out Palafox, though, because in a lot of these plays, it was Palafox teaming up with Contractz or Contractz teaming up with Palafox, and the two of them working really well together to make plays around the map. Also making the most of Ryze's global ability as well to set up a lot of these ganks. Again, we're looking at things like this because of the way that teleport works now, especially on bot side. So it wasn't super clean once it got to the mid to late game, but you know what? I really loved seeing how well they worked together, especially those two players.
Exactly. I mean, they were playing as a unit, which was great to the point that you're making. Palafox is working really closely alongside Poome and Contractz, which you want to see consistently. They were not losing kills randomly in transition to the next play, which was just a constant issue that they would have previously. And so I feel like they're just getting better and better. And they can make a real pull here in the early game versus Team Liquid.
Yeah, and it'll be big if they can pull ahead of TSM in that little rivalry they had. They had a bit of chiding on Twitter yesterday where when TSM won, they had themselves pulling away from CLG.
After the Furious meme.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but then CLG won their game anyway, so they're right neck and neck with them. They can reverse it.
There was a serious missed opportunity. There's that GIF where the car is making the hard right turn off of the freeway. That's what CLG should have done for 1-4 to get back over there with their buddies TSM. Either way, they're looking to put 2 on the board in a single weekend, and we're pulling one final caster swap for this 5th and final game. It's Pastrytime and MarkZ on the call. Gents, take it away.
G'day. My name's Pastry. This is still MarkZ. We got our final game of the week, actually, as week 3 is coming to a close.
Yeah, going to round it out with a banger. Team Liquid versus CLG, both 1-0 so far on the weekend. And yeah, I guess you would say it's huge. CoreJJ's second game. Is he ready? Is the rust shaken off? I don't know.
I don't know. And TL, of course, with a win here, and that certainly is the expectation, given how CLG have been, even though some momentum will be shifting for them after picking up a win yesterday. I mean, TL can tie for first here, and even though FlyQuest have been doing very well, I think most people would point to Team Liquid as the best team in the league currently.
Definitely. I feel like with some of the other struggles that the contenders from Lock-In were having, you look at 100 Thieves, EG potentially, C9 a little bit recently, though it's exactly hard to pinpoint with them. It does feel like Team Liquid, has emerged as the favorite, though FlyQuest is holding up there. So we'll see if CLG can take the Team Liquid down.
And it's kind of hard to not, look at Team Liquid and be like, oh, this team's pretty good. Given the roster they have once again put together, this is kind of Team Liquid's thing. Season upon season, they just tend to put together the best, if not among the best LCS teams.
And often you're wondering more about, will they be able to synergize together more than is this a talented lineup? And so far, for Team Liquid, they seem to be passing that test with flying colors. The team gets along great. They have a very clear play style. You heard Bwipo talking about, I believe it was yesterday, about how the tempo of the game has kind of sped up since CoreJJ has come back in. You could see that a little bit in what Hai is talking about, and the how proactive CoreJJ is on the map, and Bwipo now needs to like pick up the pace that he plays. But I'm sure that Team Liquid will always be on the same page.
Good coaches, good bench, good food apparently from what I hear from the Team Liquid personnel. So seems to be all good, as CLG will have to see if they can upset once again. Again, CLG definitely feeling better after picking up their first win in the LCS, but no, it's always going to be a tall task here against Liquid.
Yeah, and I think for CLG, beating Cloud9, the way in which they did it had to have felt good. You know, they just absolutely slammed bot lane. Palafox got 5 kills in like the first 10 minutes of the game, and then they basically stomped over it. I want to see CLG be able to find a win now in a game that is not so instantaneously in their favor off the back of a 3-0 dive in the bot lane. That is a tough request against Team Liquid, so maybe more in this matchup. You just want to see them go toe-to-toe with the most threatening team in the league, as we were kind of saying.
All right, we'll see what happens here. It is Corki and Zilean banned by CLG, so Bjergsen getting the ban treatment there, as Gwen and Hecarim do grace the gray screen of TL's ban side as well.
And so far, Bjergsen has not branched out the most. It's mostly been, it feels like, the scaling champions, Zilean and Corki, including Lock-In. That's 10 of his games. And then Orianna, Viktor, the Veigar as well. There's not a ton of champions that's super proactive, so I can see them kind of saying, let's take out some of these biggest threats from Bjergsen's scaling pool.
Caitlyn also banned away, so aware of Hans' general threat. Zeri, pretty much a must-ban. Team Liquid save it till last, but no big surprises there. As CLG, not that one. We'll see what else they have lined up.
So Shyvana Hover, interesting. Wonder if that's a shot in there or anything, or
I don't know.
Usually when people hover something in Champ Select that means something, like someone fed on that champ, or like it's your one trick. You know, I wonder what the significance of the Shyvana Hover is.
You know, Jojo Poon hovers Teemo every game.
I mean, that's just like just generic trolling. You know, Shyvana's a respectable character, though. I don't know why hovering her, what it's supposed to mean.
Well, it's not that close to Jinx either, so it might not have been a misclick. Maybe, you know what? It's so unlikely that they're just casting doubt into alphabetically. They're not close.
Yeah.
So you didn't misclick trying to hit Jinx. Is that how you misclick in draft?
My mouse is very erratic when I play.
You got DPI is too high in Champ Select.
Yeah, I got mouse acceleration on. Whoops. No, Jinx first pick makes sense. I mean, it's Luger's most played champion so far in 2022. They've looked very good on it, and CLG's bot lane has felt like it's taken a step back from Lock-In tournament, where they were getting a ton of kills. They were establishing themselves as potentially one of the best bot lanes in the league. And then in the actual regular season, there's been more struggles for them, and they have not been this force for them to play around. You know, the previous win against C9 kind of look like that again, where you're making dives around them early into the game, and I hope CLG kind of gets back to that identity of our bot lane's a point of pressure, we move other resources down to help them out, and Jinx for Luger is kind of that option.
Yep, I think any CLG plan that includes Luger and Poome getting some sort of advantage is a good one. I think for CLG it's been a lot of inconsistency in the top side, which is of course getting better as the games go on. Ahri I really like from Palafox actually, because not only is she just generally pretty powerful and pretty blindable, but she's really good at help enabling your jungle or roaming down to get kills in other lanes, which, you know, like bot lane, probably a good point to go to.
Yeah, I was wondering what the choice was for picking the Ahri first. Oh, okay. I thought they were going to take, you know, like the Thresh right away. You go Jinx Thresh, and you have a strong lane, but then the TK take, maybe that made them hesitate on their support pick. So they actually end up going for it. They go for a pretty strong mid-jungle 2v2. The Ahri Xin has a lot of playmaking, and like you said, that can be used to either attack mid lane, just with the setup from the Ahri, or it can be used to kind of spill over into the side lanes. They're both very good at making dives happen and things like that, and Ahri can shove a lot of things in. Not going to see the answer right now for Bjergsen. I was wondering where we had to end up mismatch based off the early picks. I was wondering if it was going to be mid lane or jungle that ended up mismatch. They end up taking the Trundle away, which has been rising in priority. It feels like slowly more and more Trundle has been popping up in the LCS.
Also, the Santorin special in many ways, particularly in this particular matchup. Trundle just shuts down so much of what Xin wants to do because he wants to dash at you, and Trundle says no. Popping up the pillar. There's Rakan being banned away from Poome. So Team Liquid, unsurprisingly, are going to go ahead and attack this bottom lane.
You expect mid bans for CLG here. One of the things I saw when I was casting Academy that looked great was the Silas into Ahri.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty gnarly how much power you got from the extra mobility of the Ahri ultimate. So we'll see what they want to end up getting rid of. Veigar, I can understand the cage being able to be very annoying just in terms of stuffing an Ahri engage. Even if you don't hit her with it, you can kind of use it to force her to have to go around or something, and probably frustrating to deal with.
Also, I think for Luger, it's just like something he doesn't want to play against, right? If he's trying to go forward, resetting in fights, Veigar just popping the cage in front and then blowing you up with the ulti feels pretty bad, man. As Cannon, that is a throwback to the Jenkins of old. But
I mean, Jenkins has played it this year as well, to be fair. One of his best champions. You could argue you could blind it in theory, and then it's a little bit more annoying, and so they don't want to have to deal with that. Or it's a ban for something that they want to take away. I mean, Gwen's already banned, so I'm not quite sure what Bwipo is looking at here, but that could say, okay, we're going to take our top laner. We just don't want the Kennen counter pick.
There's Renekton banned, so not going to get that option either here. So Team Liquid, who are they saving counter pick for? I would guess. I guess top lane actually at this point, because you already know what Palafox is going to be playing. And as Bwipo said in his interview after winning Player of the Week last week, he's been preparing more champions this week. Don't know if we'll get an opportunity to play them here, but if you want to maximize the Bwipo-ness, probably want to give him
How wide will Bwipo get?
Very wide so far. Hey, it's Viktor.
Viktor, boring.
He's from Arcane too.
You know, yeah, there's a lot of Arcane champs. But the Viktor I'm a little surprised at. It's a matchup where the Ahri doesn't have a ton of pressure individually on you. It's something from what I was watching, where there's setup potential. If you get charmed, yes, things can go bad, but individually, it's a pretty uninteractive lane. I mean, that's one of the things that makes Viktor strong, is he's hard to interact with in lane, and then you kind of just get outscaled. So, you know, Bjergsen not going for the interesting, skillier matchup like the Silas I was hoping for, knowing that he does play Silas. I know you can do it, Bjergsen, but they're going for safety in the mid lane.
Kind of to your point before, Bjergsen has an exceptionally wide champion pool, in part due to, you know, the decade of League of Legends or more that he's been playing. But typically, he just kind of sticks to whatever he thinks is good, which is the mark of a lot of these top players. Like, yes, I could play this, but why when Viktor will do?
He does admittedly play a lot of the hotness in solo queue or on a new champion release. So, you know, he has that wide champion pool, but right now I think potentially just wanting more scaling in the comp as well. When you have the Varus in the bot lane, it's a little, we'll see what build Hansama ends up going for, but usually a little bit more early game oriented, as well as with the Jayce taken there. That is two very early game oriented pushing side lanes, with Viktor kind of be your scaling threat in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think all that ties up nicely as Jenkins did take Camille. Bwipo decides that Jayce is just fine here, and as you said, is very good in the early stages of the game. And, you know, Team Liquid are typically a slow team, let's say, exceptionally good at playing their map, very good macro, great warding. Again, thanks to Core in a lot of cases, and just how good the coaching stuff is behind that team. But Bwipo has been nice for Team Liquid, you know, injecting a lot more fury into the early stages of the game. It's not that Liquid can't get aggressive, just they always don't need to. And Bwipo kind of feels like he always needs to, which is a trait I like in any player.
Yeah, for what it's worth, Team Liquid is 7th place in combined kills per minute, as well as in average game time. So not like they're horrendously slow, but you know, they are a team that likes to have a couple late game options, it feels like, in their back pocket in almost every single draft. For the side of CLG, they want to be the ones making things happen. The Xin Ahri combination, as well as the Camille into Jayce. Jayce will have a lot of pressure in that matchup. You can expect the attention then to be going more towards the top side, especially given the TK in the bot lane for Team Liquid. You know, that's them kind of saying, we want to play around our top side. A lot more of the focus for them right now in this game, and CLG will be tested in that top half of the map.
Yep, and a lot of agency for the top side, and Lulu in the bottom side alongside Luger. Says to me that at some point you move your top side down, start clicking on the enemy champions surrounding Luger, and hope that Jinx gets enough kills to carry you over the finish line. Our final game of the week, as Team Liquid are looking to tie for first here in the LCS.
Trying to make it tied with FlyQuest. It would be surprising if at the end of week 3, FlyQuest stood alone at the top of the standings, but CLG gonna do their best to make it happen. Chris believes.
Good on you, Chris.
What's Reknat think?
The GOAT of jungle versus Santorin. I like that. Do I agree? I do not, but I like it.
I mean, the Kobe Valentine's Day video seems to have worked. Contractz had a great game yesterday.
That's true. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, and I think what we're talking about with the comps, oh my god, we have so many tweets loaded up. So I'm getting distracted.
People like Team Liquid.
I'm not going to keep reading them.
All right. You're doing so well.
I was going to say the Team Liquid have the range advantage here, and I think in the 5v5s, it'll be hard for CLG if they don't already have a little bit of a lead with the Trundle and the TK and all the poke that's available for Team Liquid's side. If CLG either not already ahead or have super clean engages, if they're the ones who have to be walking into Team Liquid's comp from behind, it's going to be very difficult. So my eyes are definitely going to be on Contractz. We'll see if he really is the GOAT jungler. I feel like he's going to want to make something happen in his side lanes.
Yeah, I think in general, he's been the player that I've looked to kind of return to form. He looked so good when he was subbing in last year on EG, and is a player that I'm very happy to have back in the LCS, but has not been the bright spot that we necessarily expected, although in some cases it does make sense. He needs to warm back into playing at this level. Definitely top side is what we're going to look, though, because bottom side has heal, cleanse, exhaust, heal as the summoner spells in the 2v2.
Ooh, very aggressive bot lane. Well, actually, here comes Santorin down with the level 2 cheese gank. I like this timing window.
Yeah, I really like this, actually. Core is like kind of looking a little delicious. Luger going to be forced to flash in. They go. Cleanse out early. Exhaust is down. I take it all back. There's the gank from Santorin. It's first blood as Poome flashes as well.
We were trolling, Pastry. All those summoners were used offensively there by Team Liquid. The exhaust coming in after the cleanse from Luger. The extra bit of slow allowing the chase down. Super critical. More important than anything Ignite, probably, honestly, for finding that kill. Well executed by them, and especially on Santorin. What an awkward timing window. Straight red to bot lane. No one's going to be expecting that path, and I honestly love Santorin's level 2 cheese paths. I feel like they're always so intelligent, because right after that, you're not really that inefficient. You just go back into your jungle, take blue, take Gromp, and then clear back up the top side.
Yo, have a look at this one again. I mean, look at him go. He knows exactly what the plan is.
He's just skedaddling down there, and you know that Jinx Lulu, even if they expect the jungler to be clearing top to bot, they're not expecting this path. So they think that they're going to be able to freely push on the level 2 wave and get level 2 and harass down as much as they can. And Team Liquid are saying they're just, auto pushing. So just come down here. This is such a free kill. I don't know if that was planned from the very beginning or if that was an adaptation, but either way, super smart by Team Liquid.
Yeah, his Contractz, though, pretty good in this scraps. Here's Poome going to try and enchant him up, but Luger's going to be late to this party. Contractz winning early, but Santorin fairly powerful. Who's going to go down? It's Core. Finds the dive, gets the knock-up, takes out Contractz, gets the buffs, and now Poome, who had no flashes, in mortal peril, but will escape.
A little bit greedy there by CLG. They wanted to do something to fix their wave. You can see he's kind of frozen in an awkward spot here. So I think that was a little bit of, hey, Contractz, come down here. This gank by Team Liquid not only killed us, it also put our wave in an awful spot because they never got the wave all the way in. Hold on, Jenkins in some trouble here.
Bwipo is at it again.
Has flash.
No mana, so don't think he can kill Jenkins. Core, though, is going back in onto Poome. Good Q there from Hans, gets a bit of poke in.
What I was going to say was they were at a summoner disadvantage. The Hans heal was still up, and so when you get that really big scrap between Contractz and Santorin, that last-second heal and a little bit of extra mobility by CoreJJ to tunnel in and close that gap a little bit faster, turn that fight in their favor. And now CLG's bot lane is in a lot of trouble, already falling down about 20 CS. Yes, the wave is pushing him, but Luger's going to die.
Algo Gaming, though, it is Contractz waiting in the shadows, and it's just not gonna matter! CoreJJ still alive, will finally fall to Poome, who gets the double buffs.
I was about to say, CoreJJ had the double buffs. He was trying to heal through it with the red buff, healing him up through the gray health. Not able to be enough. Still sucks, though, for Luger. He does not get the kill. It's a 1-for-1. He's now down, 20-plus CS. The wave's pushing in. We'll see if Hans can get it in time, but this is a disaster in that game plan that I was talking about trying to move resources down to this bot lane potentially.
Yeah, Poome is level 2. If you want to know what's been going on there in the bottom half of the map for CLG. Definitely not the start they were hoping for. 1,300 gold ahead for Team Liquid. Most of that gold concentrated down to really the place you never want it to be. Hans and CoreJJ, yeah. Especially Hans on Varus.
Yeah, this is one of the things. It is Hail of Blade. We'll see if he wants to go. Well, he has Serrated Dirk, so I'm assuming it's a little bit more lethality focused. You can kind of do whatever you want from the build. People have been trying a little bit more on-hit stuff with Varus recently, but poke from ahead is so oppressive, and especially combined with the Jayce, I'm not surprised to see that.
Hey, look, CoreJJ recalled back towards mid lane. Thanks, Hi. For that little bit of insight earlier. Palafox did TP back in the mid, chunked up Bjergsen, but Bjergsen's going back anyway, hasn't used his TP, so nothing much to worry about there as Bwipo looks for the shock blast onto Jenkins, but does not find it. Farm looking good on the side of Camille, so things are just fine there, even though Bwipo is getting some pressure.
And I feel like this is going to be CLG's in-game adaptation. Bot lane has gone upside down, so time to start putting your resources in the top lane. Camille is another win condition for this team. If you can get the Ahri unlocked, like we said, in Contractz, despite that rough start, if you're there when the Trundle is not, it's okay to, the fact that you're down in a kill already in the matchup. That's not a huge deal if you're able to find some timing windows where it's a free gank.
Yeah, for now, it is just going to be struggles here in the 2v2. So we'll check in later there and see how Luger can catch up and farm down. Almost 25 right now. It's a lot.
It's tough. I mean, the double buff Lulu, if you were winning the lane, would be so unbelievably oppressive. The burn, the extra mana, they just spam away. But from behind, when you don't have control of the wave and you're getting poked out, you can just see how much this lethality Varus can get done just with a serrated Dirk on the Qs.
Good to see this, though. Palafox already getting out of lane, looking towards the top side of the map. There is a ward there. Jenkins will spot that, putting a controller in the same brush. In fact, he's going to go back and clear it now because Contractz might be fancying a go. He's going to try and take this red buff here.
This was a good setup by CLG. There were wards by Team Liquid in that river, so they saw that coming, but you kind of have to spend sometimes your first gank attempt just figuring out where the vision is, clearing it out so that your next one is successful. Contractz going for the red buff here, while Team Liquid plays more with the bot pressure, grabbing that dragon away. And Bwipo's going to have to recall, knowing that he's on the weak side of the map. Doesn't want to walk up to that Camille who's got the wave, I think, frozen right in front of her turret.
Yeah, you're going to have to give the Drake away, unfortunately, on the CLG side. So, good news for Jenkins here in the top side, but still a nice early Drake for Team Liquid. They'll be happy with that. There's no Herald to even look at, so not a trade on the board for CLG, as Luger is eating arrows from Hans Sama.
Yeah, you take the Tongue Lash first, guarantees the poke from Varus. A pretty disgusting combination coming in from the Team Liquid bot lane.
And now level 6, so going to have to play back. Luger is getting shielded. Poome with some nice timing there, but again, you're forced to play defensively in this lane. Contractz is here. We'll see if this tips the scales. It's 3v2 for a while at this point.
Yeah, and there's decent wards. And Hans is already 6, so there's a pretty massive disadvantage. I think he's actually going for the gank. We'll see.
Wrap around, heal popped already, climbed for a bit of move speed. Contractz going in, Hans the target. Good knock up there for CoreJJ. The exhaust is beautiful, but Hans Sama will not survive as Contractz still goes down, but Palafox trying to thread the needle on the charm. It's CoreJJ. It's going to go through, a bit of flash charm from Palafox. He's going to try and lock him up, and no one can stop Core from getting out.
A little bit tankier of a catfish than you would expect at this point in the game, but CLG, again, ending up just 1-for-1 for their investment there. Hans Sama able to trade back. I like the idea of Contractz just kind of like hopping in and trying to get the damage down as much as they could right away. Ends up dropping for it. And, you know, you can see they're still falling behind in the gold in this game. Hold on, Poome.
Solo kill?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like a solo kill. No flash, no hope. CoreJJ gets it on the Poome.
Takes the red buff from Contractz, says, thank you very much. Going to use this to kill your support now. This feels like you're investing in, it's like a losing investment. You got to cut ties to me, and that's why when we keep going down bot lane, it keeps being 1-for-1s. And during that time, Santorin's able to clear up his topside jungle. They're able to, you know, Bjergsen just stays mid. It's such an investment to just recover a lane that's already lost.
Yeah, I think if it had been a clean kill, it would be a bit different, but Contractz going down, Palafox not there until later. Poome dying on the back of the extended play to Core, as blue buff does get donated over.
I was going to say, during the draft, I was disappointed with CoreJJ being back. It's his second game back in the league, and he plays Tahm Kench. I'm like,
boring.
Boring. Even if it's a more aggressive version of Tahm Kench than the historical, just defensive version, it's still kind of a lame champ. But honestly, CoreJJ is making it fun to watch.
Yep, certainly is. Contractz, no flash, pops the ulti instantly. CoreJJ getting involved. Bjergsen there as well, and that's such an easy kill for Santorin.
100% kill participation for the killer catfish, CoreJJ.
3, 1, and 3. Cooldown boots at the ready. You can't fight him. Run away. Look at this. He's going to take your vision to 2. Santorin's got the red buff. Also, he got the Rift Herald. Is important to note that those first 2 major objectives did go Team Liquid's way. Great pillar there onto Poome. Poome is just eating damage, and Santorin just destroys him.
It is a disaster in the bot lane. Like you said, TL able to trade evenly when they don't have extra players around them. And when they do, CoreJJ is just going in on cooldown, trying to find people to pick up. Ends up missing it.
Unfortunately, with all the action bottom side, we didn't see the top. It looks like Jenkins, though, figured it out.
Yeah, Palafox made a roam up to the top side, it seems, during that, and found a kill, while TL just works down this bot turret. We'll hopefully get a replay of exactly what happened in the top lane there.
So we'll investigate in a moment. Also, Herald was not dropped because there was enough damage being done to that bot tower without it. So Santorin is going to save it for a rainy day, as Jenkins, a little low on health, is going to get out safely as Bwipo TPs back to lane.
Okay, so, I mean, maybe they can get the Camille online. I mean, Jinx is one of these champions who's always a threat in the game. Even when you fall behind, get to your 2 items, just chill, play it slow. Hopefully enemy team flubs and engage. Hans Sama misses an ultimate, you know? And then in the mid to late game, when people make those kinds of mistakes, Jinx still will always have that reset potential. And if you have someone else who you can invest in, well, maybe it's time to look into it here. Jenkins kind of baits Bwipo to going on him right as Palafox makes this roam up. I think Bwipo has flash, so Palafox must make a sick play to land a charm.
Oh, that's such a good flash, but it just doesn't matter. Bwipo just gets taken out. Jenkins actually perfectly tanking that tower.
I mean, Bwipo played that decently well, flashed the one skill shot that was available, but just too much lockdown and mobility available for CLG. Stick on top of him, get their damage out.
Yeah, can't flash Camille ulti, unfortunately. Santorin looking for the interrupt. I love the attempt with the gravity field, but Palafox barely slips out of the CC chain.
Yeah, Palafox able to live just barely there. I think he might have used his W move speed to get a little bit further away. That is one of the changes. If you've not seen the kind of reworked Ahri that came in on 12.3, her W gives the move speed now instead of her Q. Functions a little differently, less dependent on E. Her base abilities do a little bit more damage, as you can see, Santorin.
He's at it. He doesn't mind just taking out the tower. And this is a product of Palafox's roams, which, to be fair, have looked decent, but Bjergsen just stayed there. Rift Herald's not able to take that turret out with a bit of extra help, and Contractz and Core are going to meet in top lane, but the Catfish is too powerful!
Oh, no.
CoreJJ gobbles him up, and Bwipo knocks it down. And now Jenkins is going to be forced out of here. The level 7 Tahm Kench is going for it there. Jenkins pops the ulti, but CoreJJ is keeping him in the hexagon.
Well, they want to go there. You see some abilities used. They're trying to... They know Bwipo has no flash. He's going to be a kill. Can they also get CoreJJ?
No, Core's going to be up, but Bwipo should be forfeit. Luger probably wants to skill if they can give it over, and they will not. It's Jenkins that will collect the gold. Also a good candidate.
I think it's a good idea to give it to Jenkins. If you can get Jenkins fed enough, he'll have 1v1 threat on the Jayce. Luger, like we said, you tried to recover his lane a little bit more than you already should have. Just let him collect objectives, let him collect farm, but if there's kills available, you want those onto Jenkins.
Speaking of, Santorin's at it again. Oh, he's just going to solo kill Palafox. Bjergsen gets in there, flash the laser there for Palafox, who will escape. But even the level 8 Trundle with the Divine Thunder now at 3-0-1 is quite the menace on the Rift.
A lot of threats for CL in this game. CoreJJ is a threat. You can see Contractz needs to be scared of the Tahm Kench. I like the idea for Contractz to try and ult the damage from the Jayce combo away. It's just a little bit too slow. And so he took the Shock Blast still, and then CoreJJ ate him up, spit him right at Bwipo, try and, kind of do an alley-oop. They found that kill, and then Jenkins played this one decently well, locking CoreJJ down. You see the heal given so that he could line up the Q for the Lulu, potentially, and they just knew that, okay, we can at least get Bwipo with the speed-ups that come in from the Lulu abilities. They get that one kill. Could unfortunately not find... I think there's a shutdown available for CoreJJ. Yeah, they had 150 gold shutdown, I'm pretty sure. Just couldn't find it on him.
Instead, Team Liquid now up 5,500 gold. Are going to roam themselves up to top lane and make that lead even larger. They've also got the first 2 dragons, so yes, Hextech gates are up and available, which is definitely good news for the snowballing Team Liquid.
And right now, Santorin is kind of just running up to turrets and taking them. You saw him do that one mid lane, did the same top there. Trundle does actually become quite the threat at taking turrets, so he's just slapping those down, and they're trying to outpace CLG right now. It takes so long for CLG to try and take turrets. They didn't even get that one in the top side after that play. TL instantly respond and take the top one of their own.
Jenkins did get the bottom one though, which is nice for him. Again, he is collecting gold. Right now, the big power point for CLG does feel like this Camille. Santorin, though, just in the enemy jungle, not particularly afraid of anyone walking in and doing much. And even though Everfrost is online for Palafox, we have Sunder and Gold Drinkers on for the top side. CLG can make plays, but going to have to be fairly reactive given the gold lead that Team Liquid have, as Santorin's going to start up this second Rift Herald for the team.
I expect to see CLG sack this one. You see them all moving away. It's a little disappointing to see them even committed that many resources. All 5 members were in the area. You know, you can't really fight them. You should know they have a pretty substantial gold lead at this point. Would have liked to have seen Camille just down there collecting experience and farm the entire time, but making her way down there now.
Now Luger also has to play catch up here. Is 2 levels down on Hans Summer. Almost the same level as CoreJJ, who's level 7. He was the same level as Contractz when he almost solo killed him, as Contractz now 9 takes a red buff for himself. So definitely tough stuff here for CLG as Team Liquid continue their smooth early games. And this is the kind of thing where one of the great things about Team Liquid, one of the reasons that they are so formidable, is that when they get a lead, just don't let it go. They are so clean at closing out games.
It's especially problematic for how CLG kind of wanted to play this game out, where you have a bit of a 1-3-1. You can put Ahri in the side lane, potentially make plays against a Viktor, or get the pressure down. So see him try. Ooh, does get the flash force. That is why it's important to get your Ahri ahead, because you can do plays like that. And Ahri has a pretty low damage build most of the time in the current meta. It's more about playmaking and setup. And so when Ahri is unable to do that in the early game and you fall 5,000 gold behind, it becomes really hard to execute the 1-3-1 because your Jinx is not nearly as safe in the mid lane. You need more babying time for the rest of the champions, so Ahri doesn't get as much help as she wants in the side lane. But still a good play by Palafox there. We'll see if he can go and finish that turret off. You see them pinging it down. Should grab that one after forcing the flash. And CLG make a nice play to get some gold back in their pocket.
Yep, Protective Bounty collected. Really nice from Palafox to be patient enough. Saw the room coming up from the duo lane. Didn't want to face check the Varus and the Tahm, so just waits, goes back, and then collects the gold that they desperately need. Because CLG, they'll take these trades. They don't like them, but you kind of have to get whatever you're given at this point. As Santorin drops the Herald bottom side, and Team Liquid are going to take turret number 4.
Answer right back from Team Liquid. You see the investment for CLG in the top side. They push in mid, rotate extra members down. That is a 4-man push onto this turret. If CLG don't respect it, I expect them to grab the inhibitor turret pre-20 minutes.
They are going to get it. Rift Herald does basically all the work. Inhibitor even on the menu. Team Liquid just going for it. Palafox is still topside. Has the teleport ready to go. Whew. Rift Herald lines up, finishes off the inhib, and Team Liquid walk away. It's still alive. All right, Jenkins gets it, collects the 50 gold.
Well, they are going to make their way out safely now. I was looking to see how much more posturing Team Liquid was going to do. They take the inhibitor pre-20 minutes. People have discussed whether that's worth it or not. Statistically, I think Freak is the one who knows the exact number, but it's 90-something+% that you win the game in competitive if you take the inhibitor. The amount of pressure it provides with the team, especially in the bot lane, is Hans.
Beautifully done by Palafox, lines it up with the Everfrost, but CoreJJ perfectly timed. Voyages in, devours Hans, and Palafox feels robbed from that play. In fact, he goes back in. He's so mad about it, he's trying to make it happen. But Jenkins now going to dive back in alongside Contractz. CoreJJ, is he the target? Who's going to get out? No, he's not. It's shut down there for Jenkins.
All right, CLG finding Team Liquid a little sloppy in their resets. Find the first kill with the Drake up. They might be able to take this one away, but TL want to work their way in.
It's just like a field of slows between Santorin and Bjergsen, putting up pillars, putting up gravity fields. Team Liquid going to try and take this Drake, but CLG are sticking around for the 5v4. Jenkins getting jumped on. Bwipo misses the Everfrost as he goes into stasis, but Contractz dives back into Santorin, going to get forced away. Stunned up at the gravity field, but not going to go back in.
You get to see some of the annoying parts of Team Liquid's comp, all those slows that you're talking about, their zone control, their poke. They're able to force CLG away 5v4 from the Dragon, keep that one alive, and get their Dragon stacking continue. Well done by Team Liquid there to save what was a bit of a botched play, a little sloppy on their resets, backing out from that inhibitor take. They're able to pick Hans during that time. That was a nice execution by CLG to get one kill. Hans ended up living, but to initially try and find the pick onto him, just not enough. If that could have gone a little bit better in their favor, maybe that could have been the foothold back into that game. Another kill or two, you get the Dragon, and you can start hoping. But for right now, unfortunately, they did not find those kills.
Palafox does not know that Bwipo is currently taking the Gromp, but I don't think he's going to stick around too long. Oh, face checks the Jayce. Palafox with the ulti, though, is going to be able to get away.
Yeah, Jayce still hurts. Bwipo has been under attack a little bit this game because bot side was going so well. Naturally, you end up the target. But still a very threatening Jayce. And we'll see what he wants to do from here, because he will be the one, I think, that they're going to continue to attack. And Team Liquid trying to get some vision control for the Jayce, make sure he's safe and contest this blue buff.
It's a very confident Hexgate in from Santorin. Right into the enemy blue buff. Does go to Contractz at the end of the day, but Palafox probably would have preferred it. Team Liquid going to barrel down mid, take out this tier 2 for themselves, call it 6 turrets, 3 dragons. A Baron in 20 seconds at a Pastrytime and Pear Tree mark as Bwipo goes back in, and Palafox will get punished. No, not yet. Dodges the Q, and Contractz gets the counter kill onto Bwipo, but now he's caught completely out. A beautiful dash on the Hans to try and live a little bit longer, but unfortunately it will be a 1-for-1.
Not bad. For CLG get to stall that out. Now it's just a question if you can hold the turret.
Luger has to be careful, can't step further into the gravity field. Good zoning there. TP in from CLG. Palafox back from the brink of death, trying to make the fight happen. Luger locked up completely. Wild Growth popped, but now Palafox on the roam. It's Jenkins coming up as well. CLG needs to capitalize on this play. Palafox goes in. Everfrost finds the route. Jenkins dives into the backside, finds himself Hansama, finds a second kill. CoreJJ goes down.
It's an
CLG finds the ace.
5 kills for just Contractz going down. He's going to respawn. Baron just came up right now as well. CLG are going to look for that. It's going to be on Bwipo by himself to see if he can stop this one.
How wide is the Bwipo today? CLG will start up the Baron. A necessary start here. 15 seconds till Santorin is up. He will not be relevant in this Baron take. It is just Bwipo against the world.
All right, we'll see if he wants to just try and send the shock blast in there. It doesn't even look like he's really attempting. I think they're just going to understand, you know, we kind of just threw the game, greeting out 4 kills in the top lane.
Oh! 2,000 gold got chopped off that as we look at the Rocket flip the switch replay.
Bwipo and the rest of the team kind of get baited here. It's a nice idea. I don't hate it. They want to go in. It comes up a little short. You end up trading 1-for-1 because Contractz has to give his life to finish the kill. For CLG, you know, you take 1-for-1s right now. Team Liquid want to finish off the turret here. I don't hate the idea, given that you have super creeps pushing the bot lane, but right here, you got to be backing off. You can't be tunneling onto Luger. They think that they can just walk up, and you know, Luger's not that big of a threat. We talked about this. He's been shut down. The real threats are Palafox and Jenkins who come in here, and just the dash through the gravity field to set this up. The root right away, dropping all their damage onto Han Sama was such good coordination by the 2 solo laners. Then the follow-up immediately by Jenkins to get the true damage kill onto Bjergsen to make sure that didn't become an extended team fight. They instantly eliminated the 2 highest priorities on the Team Liquid side. That was actually very good execution. They're still down gold. They do have the Baron. I don't expect them to instantly, you know, start running away with this game. We're going to need a couple more good plays on, especially with the Soul spawning in a minute and a half.
Chris is back. Team scaling. Happy to see it there. Like I said, it was 4.4k dropped to 2.4 as that Baron dropped down. So a significant dent in the finances of Team Liquid.
Yeah, this is a... We'll have to see. It's still tough because we're talking about scaling and stuff. You know, Team Liquid still scale pretty good. Jayce is a champion whose damage is, you know, usually going to be relevant late game. Viktor as well. There's a small advantage, obviously, in the side that we talked about Jinx becoming ridiculous compared especially to Poke Varus, who not really will fall off because there's nothing too tanky on the side of CLG. Like his poke, no matter who you hit, it's going to be relevant. No one's going to stack enough armor to kind of get through and make the damage from Poke Varus irrelevant. So in that sense, the Varus doesn't fall off the way you typically talk about Poke Varus falling off. The bigger problem is going to be if Team Liquid can't zone control. I want to see them in a not scrappy situation right now actually set this dragon up and execute it because they've been playing a little loose with how much they felt like they were snowballing the game.
And it is eyes again on the CLG solo laners, on Palafox, swapping teams after a rocky start to his LCS career. But Jenkins, who was a former Team Liquid player, played a few LCS games, is now battling his old org. As CLG hold on in this game, but they're up against the Hextech Soul that Team Liquid are going to make you fight for in 20 seconds.
I like what CLG's doing. They're trying to flank right now. You know, you don't want to go straight front to back against Team Liquid's comp. You want to try and find these angles. Jenkins was initially in the bot side with the Ahri. Instead, they rotate the extra men down, so Jenkins, as you see, is actually wrapping around to get behind onto Bjergsen. This is a clever idea of playing through the bot lane to contest the dragon instead of coming in through the mid lane.
Contractz at it again, but just poking onto Santorin. Not much he can do. Pillar is good. Massive damage there from Hunt, and I think Bjergsen's laser as Jenkins is trying to find the flank angle. Teleport from Palafox. He's looking for the long flank as Jenkins forced away by Bjerg.
Good job by Bjerg, poking out the FLICKR right there.
You have
CLG,
to go.
multiple members starting to get a little low. They don't end up going.
Contractz is way too low. The Soul's just not defendable. Contractz leaves. Palafox trying to find the angle now. Just has to use the ulti and run away. There is nothing in this play for CLG.
This is a big problem with the Hex Tech Soul giving extra slows to all that poke available for Team Liquid. It's a long chase down. There's no turrets in the bot lane, remember.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Team Liquid win a clean fight there, the game might just end, given that there is an opening to the Nexus here in the bottom half of the map. CLG will at least hold on to that for now, but cannot have another crack at keeping this Soul away. Team Liquid are going to have that forever. Jinx ulti is going to cancel a recall, but I don't think there's anything else for CLG to do, despite this reset, as they had to walk all the way back to their base.
Tough situation from CLG there. Like we said, it's hard to contest objective against Team Liquid's comp. I thought overall the idea was decent, but just too much pre-fight poke. The solo laners were a little desync. Jenkins was kind of going out right when you had the TP coming in for Palafox. Their positioning was decent, but just the timings did not quite work out between Contractz, health, and all of them finding an opportunity to go in. I think Bjergsen deserves a lot of credit for chasing the Camille out of the flank position.
Now, Scuttlecrab is going to be taken. Baron's up in a minute 45. But Team Liquid happy to take early control of this area. Palafox is in danger. Does have ulti, does have flash, but doesn't really want to use those cooldowns right now, but will avoid it as CoreJJ pops a ward over the top right as the sweeper runs out for Ahri.
So this is one of the things TL have to be a little careful of. I don't think their Baron damage is that great. Santorin can obviously tank it for a while, but CLG can kind of slow play Baron situations with the Poke Varus build. Of course, the damage from Viktor is highly relevant, but it's mostly a Trundle slapping away with a Viktor and a Tahm Kench and Varus, it's not the fastest Baron in the world.
Certainly not, as Jenkins, the other threat to watch here, does have Unleashed Teleport available, is level 15 here. Feels like they can contest in the side lane, although Bwipo is maybe going to make me question that statement because he's going in because that's the Bwipo. Bjergsen, oh, this is the reason why. Jenkins, you cannot get out of this now. Bwipo's actually winning the 1v1 anyway as Bjergsen shuts it down right as the ultimatum ends, and Contractz is going to get knocked up by CoreJJ, who has been a thorn in the side of CLG all game long. Santorin with a beautiful pillar, cuts up 2. Contractz will be wild, go for now. Luger is going to be left for dead. The Devour's there, Han Solo's going off, forces the flash out of Jinx. It's a 5v4 for FLICKR.
Able to kite that one out with all the mobility available in CLG's comp. I was talking about Baron, the setup, all this stuff in the next minute. Team Liquid's not going to wait for Baron. That was a really nice rotation by Bjergsen to follow up, cut off Jenkins, kill him, and without the 4-kill Camille available, I don't think there's any way CLG can win these team fights. Got chased down a little bit there. Team Liquid now critically grab this inhibitor in the bot lane, which will auto push with the Baron respawning, will make those kinds of extended setups a lot more frustrating for CLG because you have this naturally accruing pressure in the bot side.
And Team Liquid basically back to where they started before CLG got that team fight ace and got the Baron. Back up to about 4K. Bjergsen, I believe, also teleported to that bottom place, so really good awareness by the veteran from Team Liquid. Just knowing that they can sync up with Bwipo, get a pick, and then make this situation a lot simpler for them. I mean, this is the ideal situation where we're trying to take a Baron. You have super minion pressure on the furthest point from this objective.
We'll see how long they want to spend setting it up, if they're going to look for baits. Their turn is okay. You have Tahm Kench, you can go in, but that's about it. Otherwise, like we said, it's more about poking them when they contest and during the vision battles, finding a way to get some damage down.
Good poke. Oh, they're going for it. Santorin, the target. Contractz dove in, but I think he went too early. Contractz just going to get shredded. Palafox deleted by Bwipo. And now CLG cannot contest for this Baron.
Excellent job by Santorin. They're presenting a target that CLG cannot resist. They land some damage early on, but that is an extremely tanky Trundle with a Tahm Kench in his back pocket. You are never getting that kill there. It's fine to poke him, but really should not have actually pulled the trigger on engaging onto him. Now Team Liquid are going to be able to grab this inhibitor on the top lane and potentially the game.
Yeah, Luger just zoned out there. Still 2 dead for 20 seconds or so. Team Liquid are going to move in for the kill. Trying to tie for first here in the standings at week 3. Jenkins goes in. Last-ditch effort out of CLG. Jenkins looking to go on to Bjergsen, but Luger completely zoned out by Poke. Poome is going to get attacked by CoreJJ and the rest of the squad. And the ace this time goes to Team Liquid as they will finish off week 3 atop the standings next to FlyQuest.
Who needs a Baron? Team Liquid still win the game in 28 minutes. After that one flub in the top side, they instantly reestablish control over this game and show why they are tied at the top of the standings with FlyQuest.
Like I said, Team Liquid, when they get a lead, are very clean. They rarely make mistakes, but when they do, they typically don't make them again, even in the same game.
It was one of those mistakes, too, where it's just a little bit of over-aggression. It's not like a critical misunderstanding of how to play the game. You got baited in. It happens. Reset. Reestablish control. That's exactly what Team Liquid did. Very impressed by them. CLG, that's just a tough game where the first play that you kind of go for, like Santorin just throws a huge wrench in your game plan right out the gate. Maybe a little slow to adapt to the fact that you can't play around your bot lane anymore, but you saw that they have the skill to challenge people when they make mistakes. They seem to be weaseling their way back into the game, but just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, a valiant effort for CLG, but the result kind of as expected, and I kind of like to think about what you said about, the one time they maybe overpushed it. It's kind of like a little scale for Team Liquid, and the axes are Bwipo and Bjergsen, the sole laners of Team Liquid. A little too much Bwipo on that play. Pulled it back for Bjergsen, and the game was pretty straightforward there for Team Liquid.
Yeah, I gotta say, where was Hans in that play? That's the other thing. Hans is another factor. They got him super fed in the early game. True. You can't just pretend that it's a 2-axes team.
Oh, no, definitely not. I'm more talking about on the scale of pushing the advantage too far versus playing a little... Yeah,
a little bit too much Bwipo there.
Yeah, a little too much Bwipo.
Okay, I got you.
It's kind of when it's like, put too much hot sauce on your food, a little too spicy. That's too much Bwipo. You got to tone it back. Get some cooling mayonnaise in there.
I'm a pico de gallo, a chipotle kind of guy.
Yeah?
I'm not doing the super spicy stuff. I guess I'm more Bjergsen.
Bwipo is a Diablo guy, for sure. He's going the
He goes up to the salsa bar, and he's like, a little bit of everything on there.
And we did get a little bit of everything from Team Liquid. It's also the most offensive-oriented Tahm Kench I've seen in a while. It was so funny that we set up the bottom lane to be extremely farm-heavy and boring. And then Santorin was like, do I have something for you?
Yeah, I mean, the instant level 2 gank, this is why Santorin has been one of the best junglers in the league for so long. So much creativity in his pathing.
All right, well, to cap off our weekend, we are going to be getting some thoughts from Bjergsen in our Verizon post-game interview.
because Bwipo had like 3.
Welcome everybody to the post-game interview here. I am standing with Bjergsen. All right, matchup against CLG, some TL domination right here at the start. How do you feel that the rest of the game went? A couple close calls, particularly a 1-for-4 fight at 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think we could play a lot cleaner. Obviously, our bot lane just like crushed them early game, similar to the EG game, but I think we really struggled to close out compared to yesterday. So I think with such a huge advantage, the game should really just be over at like 25 minutes, but we made a ton of mistakes. We got caught after we got the inhib, which gave them just a lot of free farm, and then we lost another fight, and we were just bleeding a lot of gold and not really respecting their TP flank. So I think a lot of things to take away from this game.
Interesting similarities with some of the games overall today and the pacing of them. Digging a bit deeper into you and the rest of the squad, I've gotten some thoughts from your teammates on CoreJJ coming back through. It's been said how that was a big draw for you to come to Team Liquid originally. So thoughts on him finally coming into the fray?
Well, Core's played 2 games and their ball lane has gotten like demolished in both of the games. So Core and Hans are just, it seems like miles above every other bot lane. I'm sure that they will try their best to catch up, but in these 2 games, it's like, I don't even have to do anything because my ball lane is just crushing. It makes it really easy for me to play.
Now, I am intrigued by something that Bwipo said in his MasterCard interview about the fact that he felt Ayla fit his style a bit, kind of in a reserved fashion, CoreJJ a bit more aggressive. It sounds like it didn't affect that much of a difference for you in these games in particular, but overall, do you feel like there's any stylistic changes that you have had to make in your play as a result?
Well, Core just brings a lot of leadership and communication, which makes it easier for me to play because I don't have to worry as much about that aspect because I know that it's taken care of. And Core and Santorin have played together for a long time, so they have a lot of kind of innate synergy that we were building up with Santorin and Ayla. So I think when your support and jungle is so in sync, it makes it so much easier to be a carry in a team. So I just feel a lot more comfortable in the game right now because of their experience playing together. And
that comfort has paid off very well because Team Liquid now stands at the top of the standings, technically tied in record with FlyQuest, but you did win the head-to-head with them. Where did you think Team Liquid would be at this point, regardless of the roster swaps and all of the chaos that has led up to this moment?
I would have liked if we were 6-0, but we did drop a game against 100 Thieves. Yeah, I just expect us to keep winning. I think we're a strong team, and I think this last week, especially in practice, I felt like we were making good improvements and actually learning, whereas before it felt like maybe we were hitting a wall a little bit, but we really figured out what we needed to work on, and I just felt a ton of improvement, not just from Core coming in, but just every player really changing and improving some of the things that we had talked about. And if we can keep up this rate of improvement, we're just going to keep winning.
Breaking through that wall in full effect and keeping it going. Bjergsen, thank you for stopping by for the interview. Congrats on the dub today.
Thank you.
Team Liquid reigning at the top of the league thus far. That does it for our games today on the LCS and for the weekend. Let's head on over to the desk to break it all down.
Now, the bow was a classy touch there at the end to his own teammates, but a lot of credit given to his bot lane there. The duo of Hansama and CoreJJ just absolutely running away with it in a number of ways. Not to overlook Santorin's effect, though, as well on this game, because we heard Mark call it out there right at the end. Ever the creative ganker. Red, straight into level 2 gank. Boom. How many times have we seen him do that, and how many times is it going to work?
You gotta watch out for it.
Is that Trundle? You see Trundle walked in, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where is he going?
Camera can't go down there.
Yeah, some fancy camera angles.
We're just going to enjoy kind of the dominance that was displayed by Team Liquid. Yes, as Bjergsen said, it was messy in some places. They kind of let it go for a moment, but never really was it a concern that the game would slip away from them.
Yeah, I thought that Hansama and specifically CoreJJ just dominated. You're right, after that first play with Trundle going straight bot lane, at that point it was a free-for-all. That Tahm Kench was the most fed Kench I've seen from the sports position for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, and he was, this was actually one of the turns for CLG, and shout out to Jenkins, who, you know, saw that opening, played his heart out.
Yeah.
Back to Core, I love how proactive he was with the Kench, like making the most of what he can do.
Yeah, and he was working really well coinciding with Santorin. Santorin was just going full sending it in team fights, and he had the full confidence that he was getting too low, he would be able to get gobbled up by the Kench hole.
Look, all I'm going to say is Hyde did an entire ProView segment about Core and his fundamentals, and so many of those things came out.
You got to find a buddy.
That right? That idea of every time he's backing, he's looking for the lane that he can affect next. He's finding a way to, okay, Hans is good on his own now, so I'm going to let him do his thing, and I'm going to go find a way to be impactful elsewhere. And so, again, just a, kind of a clinical game in a lot of ways from Team Liquid. Sitting at 5-1, you heard Bjergsen say, we'd much rather be 6-0. Who wouldn't? Dropping a game to 100 Thieves, but they look real damn good. And in my opinion right now, I would say the team to beat, even though they aren't standing alone in first.
I have a feeling.
Oh, here we go.
About
That's going to be a
this
good
TL.
night.
About this
What's the
TL.
feeling?
Yeah. So the best record they've ever had in the regular season was 15-3.
And?
That was, I was coaching that.
Oh, yeah,
that was
congrats,
cool.
chat.
Anyway, I think they're going to go 16. I think they're going to go 16-2.
16-2?
That's what it's a feeling.
You got a feeling.
They can only lose one more game for the rest of the split in the next 5 weeks. But with the way they're playing and their trajectory and the standards of not being satisfied, if they don't experiment too much, I think they're there.
I'm just going to point out here as we have the player of the games from all 5 games up on our screens that it was Core who picked it up in this 5th and final game of the day. But across it all, we have Revenge. We've got Kumo, Summit, and a Blaze Olive.
Top lane appreciation day with the side of a Blaze Olive.
You're always quick to point out how many junglers are on the list. And
Today's
this time
the day.
around, you're right, some top laners meet the mark. But when it comes to the overall POG leaderboards, we got Santorin, River, Takui, Berserker, and Someday all sitting pretty with 2.
And now I go back to my complaint about junglers.
Shut up. You get out of here.
Santorin and River.
It's like 2 of 5.
But no,
You're right.
but I think
Santorin and River.
I think Santorin and River were just by far the most influential in their games. Like River specifically, we already sang his praises consistently. It's gonna keep happening. So like that, it's only the beginning.
They didn't have a good week though. 3-1 to 3-3.
True.
Take a toss.
Very true.
What's happening, guys?
From there,
Santorin had a great week,
Emily,
too.
we move to our player of the week. And this was a contentious one, I will admit, for those of us who are on the back end and get to see all the voting breakdown. But with 2 teams going 2-0 in the week, it will be Takui of FlyQuest who snags the honors.
And we've highlighted him not only in their wins, but in their losses as a really a bright spot on this team. It's almost difficult to call out individual players as in you definitely won the game because of this in FlyQuest, given how well they've been working together around team fights and following up on each other. But he has played phenomenally well for this team. I know a lot of people were saying, even before the split started, that he was absolutely cracked in scrims individually. And so it's been great to see how that has transferred over into team success.
Exactly. You're right. FlyQuest is a cohesive and great team right now. That is just the state of the league. And then Takui has just been a really solid player mid that you can just rely on. So it's about that time where you gotta sing the praises for big environment.
Big environment!
Are we still calling him
You
big
gotta care
environment?
about the environment or else he's coming for you.
Takui, a.k.a. the big environment. Heck
go.
yeah, I'm
Big E.
obsessed with that name. And then we got to figure out who exactly deserves the title of small carbon footprint, because I still feel like there's a duo. It's a duo that's just, maybe it's Jose Dioto, mid-jungle duo or something like that. All that said, you did, I think, just make a statement. As we get the color bars.
Nice.
It probably pissed Jad off.
Oh.
You call him FlyQuest a already great and cohesive team.
Boom.
You know that's incendiary. You know how Jat thinks.
If you were, look, Jat, you're right here.
Hold on. We got 5 weeks left.
True.
Okay, they're 5-1. How? They're the best now. What are they going to be at the
Right,
end of the
okay,
split?
yeah, he's calling it
Yeah,
TL 16-2.
Yeah, what's your
What
flop?
are you calling a
What's the flop?
FlyQuest final split record?
They're starting
right here,
5-1.
right now.
What's their next 12 games?
I won't. I plead the fifth.
No, you can't. No, you
I
can't.
plead the fifth.
You
I
can't.
legally plead the fifth.
You can't do one of these.
It's illegal. I can do it.
It is not a court of law, my friend. This is a court of LCS.
You guys are acting like it's the court of law.
Somebody give me a damn gavel.
Don't give it to me.
Order in this analyst desk
Don't do it.
studio, sir. Come on, give me something.
Wow.
I think they will take 8 losses. 8 losses.
8 losses?
Yeah.
So they're gonna finish 9-9
in their next
Oh,
12?
is that how it is? Oh, shit.
Or 8 losses total, or 8 more losses?
No, 8 losses total.
Hey, that's
so they'll be
still
10 and 8.
5-7. That's
They're gonna
5-7
drop
in the next 12. Is that the best team in the LCS right now, Raz?
Raz, come on. I thought you were going to go
Raz,
14 and
what is
4.
this?
Okay.
I thought you were going to back it up.
Okay, you know what?
Big
You know
environment,
what?
small
You know
carbon
what?
footprint.
You're gonna call me out?
Let's
You're
go.
gonna call me out?
Yeah, that's what's happening.
6 losses.
6 losses. Okay, 6 losses.
That's my final answer.
Final answer.
I will not move on that.
12 and
Okay,
6.
we worked him up.
They're going to be worse than 12 and 6. What do you want to bet?
Oh no.
Okay, I like it.
Give me the
Ew.
spiciest
Little-
thing.
yeah,
Hang on,
little-
me,
nice
bud.
little-
Give me the
Maybe
spiciest
Twitter gives us some
thing.
answers.
Give me the
Spiciest.
spiciest
He's just
thing
going. He's going for the
possible.
classic, the
Yeah.
spiciest thing.
Eat an
By
entire
Jats
habanero.
choosing.
I'll do the same. We'll find something super spicy.
Okay.
And then at the end of the season, we'll do it.
So if they're
Yeah.
if they're 12 and 6 or better, then you lose.
I said they're
You
going
win,
to be worse
lose.
than 12 and 6.
You're going to be worse than 12 and 6. Easy,
that.
boom. Get it on the docket. I know we got somebody who's very happily writing all of that down.
Takui, help me.
Backstage right now. Yeah, player of the week kind of showing might get you out of that hole. All right, let's pull up the Samsung SSD Fast 5 leaderboard for the week and see where each of our players stand. I see a couple Team Liquid names. I'll see a couple CLG names. Anything for the 3 of you that jumps out in particular?
For me, you know, Santorin standing atop at level 6. I mean,
Yeah.
just those games have been pretty free in how if your lanes are dominant, and in this one he helped out his bot lane, you can just
today's game?
you can just run.
I hope it.
fast.
These are all from week 3,
Experience
right?
They were from week 3, yes, but I don't know if it was today's game. Because I hope it wasn't
Yeah.
today's game. Because if that man ran cross map level 2 to gank and then still beat everyone to 6, that'd be amazing.
The most
amazing.
impressive thing to me there is that Tactical wasn't the fastest to 10K.
Yeah.
He had 4 kills right off the bat and got
True.
like 100 plates.
Wait,
so
true.
Sama was faster to
Yeah.
10K because they probably took more.
Oh, it's just
Yeah,
so much
true.
more dominant.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a good call out. I like that one. I like that one.
No
All right,
fair
well,
plates.
congrats to those of you who earned bonus points on the LCS Sleeper Fantasy app for having this week's top performers in your lineup. From there, though, we got to refresh on the standings. We've talked a little bit about the fact that FlyQuest and Team Liquid now top the table. Only 2 people, or 2 teams rather, sharing first place. 100 Thieves and Cloud9 eking that one out today to keep themselves in a fairly pretty position at 4 and 2. And then, actually, it's all 2x2s across the board now that I take a closer look at it.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, we got 5 ties.
Incredibly synergistic standings.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Look, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken.
It's a
You know why I was heartbroken?
Why are you heartbroken?
I checked my sleeper, like what was happening in my league. I lost this week.
In that moment.
In that moment. It is what it is,
unlucky.
guys. It is what it
in
is.
that moment, Raz
It is
got
what it
caught
is.
checking his sleeper app.
Yeah.
Lost fantasy.
I lost it this week.
It's a bummer,
but
buddy.
Well,
Well, I tell you what, next week is a big week.
It is.
Super week. You get a whole extra day.
True.
For you to rack up those points. So start
gonna
working
come
on your
back.
lineups now and all of that. But a reminder that it is Super Week. And so Friday is the first day of LCS play this next week with Cloud9 kicking things off against Dignitas, Quantum Pay. Golden Guardians up against Team Liquid after that. TSM, after being so close to a 2-0 weekend, I'm really looking at that matchup, though, because 100 Thieves also falling down for a moment, Emily. That one's exciting.
That
Yeah.
one's exciting, and then Evil Genius's FlyQuest is actually super interesting to
Spicy.
me because EG were a team that we kind of, based on their lock-in performance, we wanted them to come out and like really, really make some statement wins. And they're at 2 and 4 right now. Yes, they've had a tough schedule, but like after the loss today, that's rough. And then FlyQuest, the team that everyone is kind of like,
That everyone's hot on.
Yeah.
Literally everybody is hot on that team. Not a
now
single
Dad
person.
is,
I might be a little bit too hot on that team.
Raz might
My
be a little
mouth
too
will
hot.
for sure at some point be flaming. But no, yeah, suddenly I'm invested in the performance of them versus Evil
Yeah,
Genius.
you better be, my friend. You better be. All right, well,
Should
it's
have already been.
a big week of games ahead of us next week with 3 whole days of play. That means a lot more work for all of our players and teams as well as they prepare for it. I do want to take a moment, though, to invite all of you to join myself, LeTigress, Neo, and Biofrost in the Bud Light League Lounge just after the conclusion of this show. You can catch that on twitch.tv/BudLight right after the highlights, or you can wait here on this channel for the raid. But for now, that's going to do it for us on the LCS channel for the week. On behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you for watching. Best of luck to Emily on hitting the camera with this pen throw. We'll see you next Friday for more LCS.
Get it, Emily!
Stay healthy, stay safe, be good to each other, and good night.
I'm
Good
worried
effort.
you're going to hit it one of these days.
Yeah.
We'll have
and
to
I'm
find
gonna
it.
break it.
And look, there's explosive cast, knocks him right in, beautifully comboed, even the hook landed. Now Revenge died here last time, and he's pretty much guaranteed to do so again. It's a lot done to JoJo!
Oh!
No, Revenge! Round 2 is so much better!
Can I say something, Felix?
사랑해, 형.
Tuki time. Yes, that's good.
2k.
Been good. Nice cage.
The cage gonna hit the back line. This is gonna be a deletion. Finds a double root, but he should die. Nearly one-shots FBI. Oh! Rocket! Johnson comes back from the grave, and FlyQuest come back from the dead. The fear lands, and everybody is wiped off the map.
All right, buddy, how's that energy feeling? We passed that pause time now, we passed that bullshit.
Pause. Let's go. 5,000 health, this Baron is gonna be toast. Nocturne ultimate, he's going in. Blabber goes, he got it! And Blabber steals Baron. Talk about missiles, Flowers. Blabber, the missile of hope from Cloud9 right into the Baron pit.
Summit makes his way into the fight now. Your son. Summit has found the angle, but Summit has not found the kill until now. He will crush Tactical. He will follow on Speaker. And Cloud9 has made their way through this game. Oh, here we go. Dignitas thought they were ready, but in fact, it's the Golden Guardians who have the manpower.
Hey, ult him. I've ulted him. Oh, watch his headshot, guys. Watch his headshot.
Boom!
Boom, baby.
CLG needs to capitalize on this play. Palafox goes in. Everfrost finds the root. Jenkins dives into the backside, finds himself on Sama, finds a second kill. CoreJJ goes down.
It's an
CLG finds the ace. Jenkins goes in. Last ditch effort out of CLG. Jenkins looking to go on to Bjergsen, but Luger completely zoned out by Poke. Poome is going to get attacked by CoreJJ and the rest of the squad. And the ace this time goes to Team Liquid as they will finish off week 3 atop the standings next to FlyQuest.